Please join me in the pledge of allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Moving on to public input.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Bernard Kensey, and for the record, I'm at 135 North Chestnut here in Lindsborg. This will be my and my wife's third Christmas here in town. And I've heard a couple of things secondhand, thirdhand. I'd like to get an answer to it if it's true. The Christmas decorations on the trees on Main Street are very nice and bright. However, I understand from some of the merchants that they've been visited by city officials saying no multicolored lights. Is this true?
Not that I'm aware of, and in fact, I have multicolored lights.
Greg can answer.
No, that is not the case. In fact, from an input standpoint, the only input we have is yes, we'll provide electricity for the decorations.
Okay. Because I recently saw an episode of Kansas Travels, and they were featuring Wakini, and I'm not recommending that we put up a 20 or 30 foot tree in the intersection of Lincoln and Main.
Thank you.
But that town is just gorgeous. And they do have multicolored lights over there. I think a little more decoration on the part of the merchants here in town could cause us to get onto the map, maybe onto Kansas Travels, get more tourists in, and create more revenue for both the vendors here and the merchants. I come from Phoenix, Arizona. There was a town next to us called Glendale. They have a large city park. They draw in excess of 1 million people every year during Christmas season. They've got the lights up until about the end of January, and then they relight for Valentine's Day weekend. And they have other vendors that come in, set up kiosks over there, and it's extra revenue for the city. So might be one thing to bear in mind and get the town back on the map again. So by you're telling me that no city official goes around saying you have to have white lights, that's going to cut out the second part of my statement. So thank you very much.
Before you leave, Corey.
If I could add one thing, the lighting strategy and the lights were paid for by the merchants and whoever would like to donate to the cause. We have a ad hoc roundtable that meets in this room every Monday at 8 o'clock. Everyone in the community is invited. Actually, we'd love to have more people attend, where we talk about what we're going to do in the community, and if you'd like to attend that, we welcome your participation. And
Thank you for the invitation. We'll start as soon as I get my Christmas decorations up.
Is there any other public input tonight? Seeing none, amendments to the agenda, council or staff?
Need to add item number 8 under new business, firewall replacement.
All right. Is there anything else?
And you also have, when we get to, give you an update on the ambulance accident, and then you also have an updated quote on the item number D or 10D under Sunstrom chairs was distributed in front of you also for consideration tonight.
All right, any others from council members? Anything you wish to add? Seeing none, let's go to item 5, the mayor's report. Just want to highlight again the great news that Bethany College and for the local kids, for Bethany and for Lindsborg, with the scholarships that are available there. I think that's a tremendous boost for Bethany and for families in the local community, not only Lindsborg, for instance, Lynn County in that, and I hear a lot of buzz and people that, were Wichita are talking about it in other places and that, and so I hope that many, many families and kids will become Swedes and take advantage of that. I think it's a wonderful opportunity that we have, and I've talked to Will about it, and we're all very excited for them and for the community as a whole. So, Corey, thank you for your time and your leadership on that, on the board up there.
Credit President Jones.
Great. So, I also want to address that last meeting, we had some public input, reference the utility building that we have and the late fees that are charged. We did have a study session on that prior to this to really bring council members up to date on where we stand with our utility late charges, what the whole process is, how it works. The bills go out on the 20th, you have till the 10th, so there's 20 days there, how we worked within this community. There's several organizations within the community to help those that may be struggling at the time with their utility bills. We also talked about that, how we are a reference point, we can refer people on. We can work with them within our own means of set up plans. If they're having an issue or whatever with payment, we can set them up for the late balance as long as they maintain the current balance in that. And so we did really review the whole process. I felt good about all of those things, and we will be putting more information out in the February edition of the City News, really to make sure the public understands really what all the options are when you do look at that. Is it with any organization or any business, and we are a business, there are those that are frequent flyers, frequent users of late payments and those kind of things, and maybe even have run through all of their options in charity, or support in some other areas and this and that. And so we want to do our best to help them manage and keep their utilities on. There are times now when it's below 45. We are not required, but we do use the winter rule. I forget what they call it. Cold weather rule, and we do not turn off utilities at that point. So we're trying to be as supportive as we can, but again, we are a business and we do operate in that fashion. So please look in the future for that information in the citywide news that'll be coming out in February. Consent agenda, what is your desire?
Move to approve.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Mark?
Yes.
Eno?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Corey?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Betty? Yes. Kelly? Yes.
Motion carried. I know of no appointments unless there's anything new from the floor. Thank you. And planning and zoning, Gary's not here. Old business, none. So we'll go directly to item 10 and new business. We'll start with the Rural Fire District Aid Agreement. I hope everybody's had a chance to read through that and look at that. Larry can address that in a moment.
Every year we renew the agreement with Rural Fire District Number 8. They use the city's fire department to store equipment, and we also pay the firemen for their runs. And then Rural Fire District reimburses us for storage of their equipment and for runs during the year. We look at annually 3% increase on the basic charges. The run fees stay the same from year to year. So that's what we're looking at, is a 3% annual increase from last year. Next year, we'll probably have to look at this more in depth as the ambulance department, the EMTs, create a new building that will free up space in the safety center. So we'll have to look at how that space is being used at that point, and probably have to do something a little bit different next year.
Council, what is your desire?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion.
And they had a 3% increase each year. So
Every year, and I've already received a call from one of the board members saying they do agree to the increase.
Larry, did you say you pay run fees and everything out of that total amount of $5,200, or the run fees on top?
we pay, if you look at the agreement, there's, let's see, it's $13,000 per year that we receive for run fees. And then if there's any run fees in excess of 40, then we charge the rural fire district $135 per run.
Okay.
What is the boundaries of rural district number 8? Just roughly.
It's
I don't know
southern
exactly.
portion of Saline County, and just a few miles south, and then over towards, I don't know how many miles exactly, but it's
8 square miles.
8.
Pretty close.
And we correspond over almost all the way to Marion County, correct, Chief?
Yeah, over
And
2.
then we correspond to an area with Marquette to the west, and also with Sling County Fire District in the north.
Other questions? Roll call, please.
Kelly? Yes. Betty?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Corey?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Eno?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Rural Fire District number 8 agreement passes. Tim rises to talk to us about masks.
Right, we're doing some equipment checks. Matt Clark's in charge of the fire department now. He's been going through the equipment. Some of it's obsolete and needs to be replaced. So there's demand to have this as soon as we possibly can to bring this in compliance. So he's asked that we purchase some masks, and that's my recommendation.
Council, what is your desire?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded, discussion with Tim.
What is an SCBA? What's the acronym stand for?
It's the air pack and masks set that they wear so that they can breathe when they go into a smoky building.
Self-contained breathing apparatus.
Thank you.
Tim, I only see one quote here. Is it normal for us to only get one quote?
No, it's not. They're the dealer for our area and the masks that fit for our system.
Okay, so it's proprietary.
Correct.
Tim, will these 10 masks get everybody into a quote certified mask?
Yeah, the rest of them are still okay, but we need to replace 10.
And these are like oxygen masks?
That's correct.
And is it reasonable, will the grant, if the grant is awarded, will they award for a purchase made in advance?
I've already been advised that.
It's just, oh, okay, okay, thank you.
Did you tell them we need it?
Thank you very much.
So are you looking at, this will come from the capital budget?
Right, we have money budgeted for JAWS.
Mhm.
They weren't going to be purchasing the JAWS equipment this year, and so we're asking if we can use some of that money.
Thank you.
So is Chief Clark, is he looking at all the equipment, and this happens to be the first one you found, and the things that you feel that we need to replace, right? I think safety is a priority for sure.
There's some other things that I'll be bringing forward, something next week on some tanks.
Okay, okay.
So this is just a portion of what we're going to be needing?
Right.
Okay.
But these are immediate need right away in case we're to have a structure or something where we needed to use them.
Yeah, he's borrowing tanks right now, but
Yeah.
bringing that next council meeting.
Do we know how long or how far out certification these were? I mean, did they just come up, or have they been out for a while and nobody just checked, or?
Just say yes.
I don't know.
All right.
Are there other questions of Chief? Well, I appreciate the Chief checking on those things. So, Chief Clark. Roll call, please.
Mark?
Yes.
Eno?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Corey?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Betty?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes.
Fire department masks were approved. Moving on to item C, holiday bonus. Tradition has been for city council to provide regular employees with a $100 per employee bonus. There are 27 full-time employees. This is, again, has been done in the past that way. What is your desire?
Motion to approve?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
I'm all in favor of doing this, but I also think we've been doing $100 for some time. And perhaps in our budgetary planning, we might rethink that amount.
No, I would second that, maybe look at for, next time, something. I have no idea when we last suggested it, but I think it's been before I was on here. Well, that ain't very long, but I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it's been this way for longer.
Yeah. You should ask somebody else.
It's been 15, 16 years, I think. Well, there you go.
Yeah, I think it's time to review it at some point.
Anyway, I'm in favor of it.
All right. Any additional discussion? Roll call, please.
Kelly? Yes. Betty?
Yes.
Wayne?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Corey?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Emo?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
All any bonus carried. Item D, Sunstern Share Quote. On your table before you was an updated information. Please refer to that. Holly. It's up to date.
Currently, we have 260 chairs at this conference center that are available for our use for events. And what we have found through the 2016 year, we had approximately 6 events where that wasn't enough chairs, and so we've rented additional chairs for those events. A few instances, we've had individuals that choose to utilize the whole building, and they may not have as many people. They might not have 300 people for an event, but we would have to move chairs from one floor to the next. And it was just very cumbersome to do so, in fact. And not always were guests crazy about that, but they also didn't want to have to pay to rent extra chairs. By adding an additional 50 chairs, we felt like that would give us over the 300 mark. We would be at 310. That gives us just a few additional over 300. And would help us to be able to better accommodate larger guest lists, and also would be less wear and tear on our furniture during setup phases. So purchase of additional 50 chairs, and we're looking at $3,105 plus freight. And we ask that you look at that as approving it with plus freight, because the freight may vary a little bit from the price that they gave us. We can't hit it necessarily on the nose.
What is your desire, council?
Move to approve the new chairs at $3,105 plus freight.
Been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion for Holly or others?
How much does it cost to rent chairs?
Amy's not here. I sent her home because she's sick, and I didn't want to have to run her events the rest of the week. So
Okay.
I want to say it costs us around $3 a chair to rent.
Okay.
And we have been,
And you've done it about 6 times this last year?
well, depending upon events, sometimes we've done it more than that. If we've had, say, 2 events in the building, we may have rented for an entire floor at one time. And we have passed that cost along typically to the individual renting. We have, which is not typical. According to that, he's giving me the look. And I know how he feels about it. So, but that's just what we've had to do, because we cannot eat the cost of seating, say, 200 people and still be profitable.
Bill?
Yeah, I think you need to put a maximum amount in for the freight amount as part of the motion.
Okay.
Whether that's $700 or $750, whatever you feel is comfortable to cover.
If it's, a year ago was $699 for 60 chairs, is that a good number for us to work from, not to exceed 700?
I would say probably it is.
Since this is 10 chairs less?
So now, does everybody understand? We need to amend the motion for that.
Technically, yes, but it can be done just by consent of the mover and the second.
That's
Mover?
Yes.
Second?
Yes.
Everybody, so you're 3,105 plus 700 freight maximum.
This estimate on here from GGA was for $29.88, and we have an updated one from the other person. What happened to the estimate from these people? That says
We've
TPC.
only gotten an estimate from this company because this is where we purchased chairs the last time, and in order to get them to match, we had a hard time finding these to begin with because they quit manufacturing the chairs we purchased initially. So we had to look for something that was comparable in looks, which we found something extremely close. In fact, we think these actually look nicer than the ones we purchased the first time around. And finding the right sheer finish, which is a mustard gold.
Yeah, but look at the bottom, it's
Yeah.
Gladstone.
Okay.
So we were just purchasing from the same company, knowing we would get the same product to match.
Okay.
Holly, how are the chairs holding up?
Extremely well, actually.
Fabric and everything is holding up well for
They've
you?
done really well for us so far. Done really well.
Plenty of room for storage.
We so far are doing well, and Amy did some revamping in the storeroom on the main floor, so we were able to get chairs in more than what we had in the past, but we've also got area upstairs that we can utilize, because typically if we're utilizing the upstairs, we're utilizing the chairs, so having them sit in between events is not that huge of an issue.
How do you move these chairs around? Do you have racks for them?
We do, we have,
But we're not getting
there's a
any
rack,
rack here.
it's like a chair dolly that slides underneath the chair, and you can
You
tilt it
just
backwards.
move one bunch and then.
Move a stack
bring
at
it
a
in.
time. Mhm. Yes,
These are used upstairs and downstairs.
both.
And when we rent them, they come typically from where?
We typically rent from Water's True Value, and it has depended, sometimes in the past, I think once we had to rent out a Great Bend, because Water's could not fill our contract, it was something that was really close to the date, and they had already rented their stock out, so, they have been very good to rent to us, but do know that the chairs do not always come clean. We've had them kind of splattered with mud and had to totally wash every single chair, down by hand.
Are those
Because they were
folding?
used for outdoor
Yeah.
events.
Those folding chairs?
Yes, they're
So-
white folding chair.
So we're not comparing apples to apples
No.
when we
And there's
Not
a
at
lot
all.
running versus them.
It sounds like there's a lot more work involved too.
A lot more, a lot more.
Additional questions for Holly? Roll call, please.
Mark,
Yes.
Eno,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes?
Rick,
Yes.
Blaine,
Yes.
Betty. Yes. Ellie. Yes.
Some chairs have passed. Moving on to item E, street signs.
Back in October, we bought an initial amount of street signs that have been replaced already, and I told you if we still had money in the budget, we'd come back with additional signs for the end of the year. We had only one bid, and it's the same thing, it's basically proprietary to the point, and in order to match our signs throughout the city, we would be buying all our signs from Barco. So, this is 88 signs and hardware. It would be enough to do finish Coronado Avenue, do K4 all the way through the city, all of Main Street, all of Lincoln Street. So, recommend a motion to purchase the street name signs from Barco for $2,575.20.
So moved. Moved and seconded.
Wow, that was, who did what?
Move in a second.
Okay.
Discussion for Tim?
How far, does this get us, what, halfway done, all the way done,
No,
third of the way done?
fifth.
A fifth?
It's a 5-year
Okay.
plan to replace all of them down.
You're happy with the sign?
Oh, I think they're terrific. I should have seen some somewhere.
I have.
Yeah.
I was asking your opinion.
Being, no, they're fine. I won't.
He's a lame duck.
This
I have
might
no
be-
aesthetic taste, my wife tells me, so
Yeah.
my opinion doesn't count.
This might be a little weird question, but in Missouri, many places up there, they have like these concrete pillar things that they paint on there. What is the advantage or disadvantage of that? Any idea why they do that there? I've never seen that in Kansas.
Little River.
I haven't either. Bet you,
It's hard
You
to tell where
really-
you're going.
Yeah.
they only run them over once, and then they learn, so.
Might solve some of our problems, is what they're saying.
We can do this.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Kelly. Yes. Betty. Yes. Blaine.
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Corey.
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Eno.
Yes.
Mark.
Yes.
Street signs have passed. Moving on.
I'm gonna have Chris Lindholm address the next two items.
Chris, it's good to have you. Good to have you, Tony.
Thank you.
Ready? Floor is yours.
Okay. First item is the ORP probe. What that stands for is oxygen reduction potential. 2010, we did all the work to upgrade the plant to remove total nitrogen, and that is a very complex multi-step process. Currently, we monitor that with dissolved oxygen meters, and while that works fine on part of it, it doesn't get the other part of it very well as far as monitoring what you need to do. Dissolved oxygen meters measure dissolved oxygen. Like a lot of meters, they measure one specific thing. ORP measures a condition. It tells us whether or not the basins are in an oxidation rate or a anaerobic state or an anoxic state. So there's no guessing. Well, you read you need to have the DO at a certain level. That's fine, but are you really in that condition? This lets us know if we're in that condition or not. And as we move forward, we're in 6 years now of operating since the project took place. We're getting more and more of a handle on the process all the time. This gives us a much better handle to know where we're at with the one part of the process to get us where we need to get. With EPA regulations coming, at some point, we're going to have to really have a good handle on it, and this will allow us to have that, a much better handle on it. It's ever evolving, but this will give us a much better handle of it. So we would like to purchase that and begin using that.
Council, what is your desire of the ORP meter?
Motion to approve $1,482.75.
Second.
Been moved in second.
Is there anything about it?
Chris, why do we need to get rid of the nitrogen?
Nitrogens and phosphorus both, as they enter the receiving streams, they contribute to algae blooms, which deplete the oxygen as they go down the stream, and you get into the Gulf of Mexico, and it creates a much, much bigger problem. So we're trying to remove as much of the nitrogen and phosphorus as we can to reduce that.
So if Lindsborg does this, this will completely clear up the Gulf of Mexico.
Pretty close.
We can say we did our part. That's all we can do.
So I'm curious, I'm sure you log the reports. How often do you check something like that? Is that a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly thing?
It's dissolved oxygen is being measured continually.
So the probe is used daily?
This probe will be used daily. This is a handheld probe. This is kind of the newest metering technology that's out there. And that's why we've had this budgeted a number of times, but I've not been comfortable enough with what it's telling us to believe it. I've talked to a number of people, and they're comfortable with what they're seeing. So this isn't going to be installed as part of the telemetry in the system to control things, but we'll be able to really start seeing what the numbers are. Plus, we can use it in multiple places instead of just being in one spot. We can get a real good grasp of everything and know, okay, we're seeing this number from this probe, but this probe is telling us this. So then we can make adjustments and tweak it out, and it's going to help us as far as that's concerned.
And the data is recorded?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Thank you.
Other questions? Roll call, please.
Mark?
Yes.
Engel?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Cory?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Betty?
Yes.
Ellen?
Yes.
ORP probe has been approved. Moving on to item G, sewer line repair. Interesting.
Yes. 920 North Coronado Avenue over the last year and a half. I've had a couple of calls up there for sewer backups. We didn't really find anything that was conclusive. It was really leading me to understand what was going on. So this year when I had the maintenance crew in town doing sewer line maintenance, we ran a camera through it, and we found two issues. One being tree roots, and the other being this ground rod that's stuck through the sewer pipe. We've taken care of the one issue, but the other issue with the ground rod, this was underneath a transformer. We looked at trying to excavate it ourselves. It's just kind of a logistical nightmare to try and suspend the transformer, dig in this hard clay soil, and not run the risk of having a collapse on us. So what we would like to do, this company can go in through the pipe, but a camera from one end, and the other end they'll come up with a tool that has this patch on it, and they can put that patch in place and see where it's at with the camera exactly, and that will cure out. They've got a machine that cures while they're putting it in, and then that will take care of the problem. We'll have to, of course, have a small power outage, pull the ground rod out, and either pull it out and leave it there, or pull it out and relocate it, but we've got stuff under there, so we'll have to just see what we do there. This will take care of the problem, and we won't have to worry about that. We can reassure these homeowners that we have addressed the problems, and they are going to be good to go to refinish the basement finally. So.
But we don't have any recourse with the person or contractor that put the rod through it?
If this would have been known within 5 years, 10 years maybe, they probably would have helped us and would have done something. 20 plus years down the road, they're probably not going to do anything.
Before we go on, council, what is your desire on this?
Motion to approve $3,060.
Second.
$8 for mayor's specialty.
Oh, yeah. I still second it.
We have a motion and a quick second.
This is kind of like endoscopy for the sewer. I mean, that's.
Are there other questions?
That's pretty fascinating stuff.
So who did the sewer tap? Did we do that? And we had to, we tap our own sewers?
No. Homeowners are responsible for the sewer taps when they do them. This one was done by homeowners or by a plumber, whatever. It was just a faulty tap. We went back in because of the location, electrical lines. We were there preparing for this anyway, so we felt it was just as easy to do it right there, and that way we know it's done. We don't have to worry about anybody in electrical lines and all that stuff. So.
Current situation, if I'm a new homeowner and I want a sewer tap and my plumber digs it up in that, we're there to do an inspection of the tap, when it's done and all that. Not knowing at all what happened here, but
No.
future and all that. It's, we're there, we're inspecting.
We're just there to inspect it.
But you're seeing what the job's done, right away and all
Yeah.
that.
And this one looked good. I mean, it was a proper epoxy tap, it just for some reason didn't hold.
Okay, good deal. Anything else to reference the clearing up of the grounding rod? Roll call, please.
Kelly?
Yes.
Betty? Yes. Lane?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Corey?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Ingle?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Sewer line repair approved. Item H, the amendment that we had was a firewall replacement. Maybe the information was at your council seats when you arrived.
Yes, current firewall is experiencing a number of issues, causing issues with all of our email servers, continually requiring work, plus the support for the firewall. When I say support, I'm talking the manufacturer support and upgrades to the software for the firewall are becoming obsolete. Recommending sooner rather than later to replace the firewall. I've received 3 proposals. Only 2 of them are valid. The one that came through Amazon is only for a 3-year service. It doesn't include the firewall itself.
There's the recommended firewall, which Reach Solution is our service provider, is recommending a sonic wall TZ400, along with a 1-year subscription service from the manufacturer. And then we also got a quote from CDW and their governmental division under the National Joint Purchasing Agreement Program. And that is with a 1-year service agreement. There's a $19 difference between the two quotes. For $19, I would recommend just going with the quote from Reach Solutions for a sonic wall TZ400 with 1-year subscription service in the amount of $1,129.
Council, what is your desire?
Move to approve.
Been moved, is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded, Greg, no freight on this, they deliver, they put it in place.
Yes, correct.
And that's what I was wondering, it's installed by someone, it's like is it a software program?
It's a hard.
It's hardware, but there's also software, but they're also able to manage it remotely. Reach Solutions is our IT service provider.
Right.
Also, I made them fully aware that we require competitive bids on hardware, so they provided one along with.
But this isn't a component that we looked at from Reach that we still had a contract with Next Tech for. What was that?
That was our email server, our email service, hosting service. No, it's not.
Okay, thank you.
The TZ400 takes us out in the future like we need, and it
Yes.
meets all aspects.
What data is it what's it protecting? All
Uh,
of our data, all the data, or just the
Yeah. No, all of our data. Yes.
because it's, cybersecurity is a pretty big deal, right?
Yeah. Totally.
Not something that like.
How soon will they have that in?
I don't have the answer to that question.
I just want to know how long they had before.
We're not worried about you. We know we could probably figure it out, I'm not worried.
Any other questions for Greg or staff? Roll call, please.
Mark?
Yes.
Engel?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Corey?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Lee?
Yes.
Betty? Yes. Kelly? Yes.
Firewall replacement is approved. No executive session that I know of.
No, correct.
Okay. We'll go on to department head reports. Start with Holly.
Start with me, is that what you said?
Start with Holly.
Just
I guess I don't
Ladies
know.
first.
Couldn't hear you.
Ladies first.
Well, we are ending our year at the Sunstrom in a way that has been much better than we had expected and anticipated, which is fantastic. And we're starting our next year really in good shape. We already have 21 events booked for next year, and we have 3 more contracts out currently, so that's fantastic. We're ahead of where we were this year. Our last event for this year is on December the 11th, so we're going to be focusing on marketing and efforts in the last couple weeks in December, and just figuring out what we want to do there. Amy will be going to Topeka this week to the KSAE conference, and they have something similar to speed dating, and she has signed up for as many people as she thinks she can possibly see during that time to talk to them about bringing their association meetings to Lindsborg. So we're hopeful that that goes well. I visited with Joni, the CDB director in McPherson, a little bit about her experience there last year because we were not able to send anyone to that particular event. We went to the conference, but not the one-on-one event. And she said she gained 5 meetings out of that, so I'm very hopeful that that will be the case for us as well. As for the CBB, about a month or so ago, the state of Kansas contacted me and wanted to know if we could do some type of giveaway for something as they were focusing on Coronado Heights as a tourism stop on their Facebook page. Throughout the month, they were going to focus on it for several days. And I said, what about if we give you a free tour certificate? So if you come here, you can have a free tour and a free program at Coronado Heights. So we do that anyhow. but it's something that a lot of people aren't aware is a service that we offer at the Convention and Visitors Bureau. People are many times very surprised when they call that we'll plan their trip for them and customize that, and we'll also make sure that they have a program at most of their stops. And sometimes those are provided by us, sometimes they're not, but typically they are free of charge. So as I got to thinking about this, I thought, well, we have this great mailing list already that we've sent out to Rotary clubs and Kiwanis clubs and different organizations across the state. And we brought in, a couple of years ago, several really nice programs, but I always had to travel for those programs, and sometimes I would be gone, late into the evening or on weekends to be able to go and talk to these people. Not that that's an issue, but my job is really to bring people here, which when you go talk to them, that's part of it. But I thought, what about sending these certificates out to these groups and saying, here is a free certificate for up to 20 people to come to Lindsborg, and we'll give you this free program as part of your visit. So I think what we will do throughout this next year, we'll start at the end of this year, sending out that first certificate to that mailing group that we have already, and then we'll do that at least twice more next year with different things. You can have a program on Lindsborg history at Bethany Church and an organ program for an additional $50. Again, that's something we already do, but it just lets people know that we do it. I got to looking at numbers, and I thought, if we just had one individual from each group that would take advantage of that, just one, and even if half of them, that's still 30 groups that are coming to Lindsborg in the next year. So we would just have to have marginal results, I think, for that to work really well. So we're looking at doing that. So any questions?
There are no, you say December 11th is the last?
It's the last one for this year on the calendar.
How many total is that, Mike, do you know?
93.
93, with a goal of?
We have a goal of 1 million. No. Maybe it doesn't.
We can't need some more chairs.
That's our role.
At the beginning of the year, we talked about the fact, and I told her, I said, I really would like to see between 120 and 125. And looking at our year-end numbers this year, we really feel like if we can do that next year, we really would be to a place financially where we wanted to be. So we're very close this year already. So good stuff. She's doing a fabulous job. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next up, Tim.
Which one?
We'll go with Public Works.
I want to give you an update on Auburn Pharmacy driveway issue. We thought we had it settled a couple months ago, and nothing happened and nothing happened. I think it was after 6 or 7 weeks, and finally left council with the application by Auburn, and it got to Topeka, and nothing's happened since. So I'm sure we're 9, 10, 11 weeks into the process. And I made a phone call to begin with. I was assured that they would be issued their permit to do the driveways the way they need them. And after things were happening, I started making calls again, and they were not returned. And Greg started making calls, and they were not returned. And I don't know what his title is, but the man that's in charge for Auburn getting the construction done, he started wanting to pull political strings if he could, because he's got, $500,000 sitting out there that he needs a driveway for. And anyway, it started getting a little political, and Greg used just enough of that to get a conference call, which we had today, and then from there on, it was just the people involved in it that instead of politicians. So we had a conference call today. At last count, I think we had 5 KDOT people online. We had 2 Auburn Pharmacy, including the CEO, and Bert, the builder. We had Wilson Engineering, who had done the traffic study, and then Greg, Gary Sugar, and myself. And, the person that I had thought that we had to fix in with to get this thing done. He basically had never seen the permit. It hadn't gotten out of the study level. And, you know, that we can surmise why that might be, but it is what it is. So we cleared the air. We had KDOT clearly state what it is they need from Auburn to move forward. That probably has already been accomplished and is on its way to KDOT for their review. The review period should only be a short amount of time, in my opinion, but they did say it could take 4 to 5 weeks. Greg's got a thing he's gonna try to make that a little shorter. So everybody heard the district engineer say that we're gonna approve this. So I think Auburn has the assurance they need to continue with their project. And it may take a little time. It's definitely gonna hold up on whether, you know, when they can pour their driveways in the parking lot, but it will move forward. And I think we're all pretty confident that will, at this point.
Is that a double driveway, is that the problem?
Yeah, and there's actually 2 driveways in there, but they're narrow residential driveways at the extreme ends. And, you know, there was some concern, the new driveways would be going over the storm drain inlets. And, you know, we'd already talked about that early on, that wasn't gonna happen. But anyway, they're gonna do whatever, they're gonna rebuild any sidewalk that needs to be rebuilt. They're gonna, you know, they're gonna try to make it all look nice, maybe even a little green space, but they shouldn't have any trouble, you know, providing the remainder of the information to KDOT, so they should move forward soon.
Okay. Any other public works questions for Tim?
Tim, I'd like to comment. I think you probably do, or maybe Jerry, there's this thing on the bottom of our agenda here, project progress status report. Anyway, I really appreciate that.
There'll be a newly revised edition out on the next one.
Well, it's great, but I appreciate all that information.
Yeah, well, everybody adds to that.
Yeah.
Back on the dual driveway rule with KDOT, I just want to confirm, that's only on new construction or new permits. It would not impact any of the businesses that are, if you go up and down the highway, almost every property has them, and I'm sure they're not conforming to that rule. So.
That was pointed out to us today by the district engineer.
Yeah, the corridor access management policy was changed in 2013. Yeah, there's not a driveway that's conforming with the current policy. In fact, under the current policy, based upon the standard of road that's in place, they have to be, each driveway would need to be 155 feet apart. Obviously, there's not a single driveway on Harrison Cole that conforms with that.
So could we run into future problems with existing businesses, potentially?
Or if anybody that wants to make a change to that problem, but.
Let's say they need
House and the sidewalk.
let's say they need to pour new concrete.
Well,
A fixer upper, I wouldn't think would be a problem, but we'll move it.
if you're doing maintenance work, you don't have, if you're doing maintenance to a driveway, it doesn't require a driveway permit because the driveway's already been permitted. Does that answer your question? Okay.
I assume that.
But if you wanted to modify it, make it wider, things like that, then you have to file for the permit, then you're gonna run into the current regulations.
As long as the district engineer that we have is still in there, he recognizes that it's not one size fit all, you know, rules. And he will work with us, but, you know, he moves on and you gotta be fair.
It's also advantageous, this is a policy, it's not an administrative regulation or a statute. So there's a little bit of flexibility in that, working through the correct departmental staff.
All right, thank you, Tim. Tim?
I guess I wanted to give you a heads up too, when I talked about not getting a grant for the fire department. That also included the air machine that we're hoping to replace. So, some of the early bids we had for an air machine were right around $40,000. So I think Matt had been looking at the system that he could set up for under 15. So we're looking at ways that we can reduce the cost of the machine. But that was one of the things too, that grant was also applied for. We didn't get it.
Well, what is an air machine? This machine that does what there?
That fills the SCBA tanks.
Okay.
They don't actually put oxygen in them, they mix them to normal air, and they're under pressure, so, they have a machine there. So I just wanted to point that out.
And do we have one now and it's no longer working?
That's correct. Yeah, I mean, we've set it up to where we can use it manually, but
Is that
it's
safe?
a difficult process. Yeah. It just takes a long time, and you have to be there the whole time that you're doing it. The other problem with our current machine is that the tanks that are obsolete are going to a higher pressure than our machine can provide. So we're going to have to upgrade it anyway to be able to fill the tanks. So, looking at that right now. Also, from a law enforcement standpoint, we've been meeting with mental health services for McPherson County. We started about October. We've been meeting every month. We met again today, trying to bridge the gaps between mental health and law enforcement. Today we had members from the Johnson County Health Services who came down and gave a presentation of what they're doing right now to bridge the gaps between mental health and law enforcement. And they basically put somebody who actually is employed by the law enforcement agency, works a shift when the majority of the issues occur, and then does outreach program as well. And they've had a lot of success, and they've also found that it has decreased because right now basically we have two options of dealing with mental health, and one is taken to jail or taken to the hospital. And both of those options, jail isn't always the best answer, and the hospital is usually a very lengthy process. So we're looking at ways to change that, to save money. They've been able to show huge savings to the agencies by finding alternatives, by having this person present. So we talked about ways that we could perhaps, maybe not the city of Lindsborg, but the person county provide that type of service for our county. So we're in the process of doing something like that right now, and putting numbers together to see if we can fix that portion. I mean, one of the biggest areas I think that gets in Kansas is as far as losing funding is in mental health. And so I'm not blaming mental health for the issues. I'm just trying to find a way to fix it, to make it work better for us.
Then when you say we, is it Lindsborg, or is it you and the county coalition, or at this point?
Right. It's, when we met, Larry from the hospital was with me today. So hospital staff, EMS, law enforcement, county attorneys, there were county commissioners that were also present, and the mayor and some other people from the person. So it's several groups trying to find an answer.
Okay.
Questions at Tim, public safety?
What's happening with the ambulance?
Greg, I'll let Greg address that.
Okay, sorry.
Thanks, Tim.
How are things going with Bethany arrangement?
I think very well. I think very well.
They're going very well. That's a good
So,
sign.
won't the money we appropriated run out pretty quick?
End of this calendar year, yes.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
Item 13, other, Greg, you want to update us with David's question?
Well, sometime back, and I can't remember exactly, sent you an email notifying you that regarding the ambulance accident of August 18th, or I'm sorry, August 21st, that the driver of the vehicle that was involved in the accident with the ambulance retained legal counsel. This afternoon, we received from EMC Insurance, the attorney that they had retained on the city's behalf, Ron Campbell, with Leeson, Going, Colson, and Kitch, with just some background, some brief background on where it is. As of right now, they being the potential plaintiff in this case, has not filed suit, but there's that possibility since they have retained legal counsel. Just provided a real brief background, but one of the issues at hand right now is we don't have any photographs of the other vehicle that was involved in the accident.
The car?
Of the car, yes. When I say we, I'm speaking from our behalf, whether law enforcement or some other agency does, I don't know. Bill, I don't know if you have anything you want to add?
No, I don't. It's just that I think the important thing to remember here is that the city does have counsel working on its behalf. That counsel has done a preliminary inquiry, has come up with a couple of things such as what Greg just said. Do we have access to photographs, the actual damage? But this is a very preliminary report. It's just that we're being watched, or we are being watched over would be a better way to say it. The counsel for the insurance company is on the case.
Yeah. I mean, essentially, while the legal counsel's been retained by EMC, that legal counsel is defending the city of Lindsborg.
That's correct, yes. Yeah. And nothing has been done really on the plaintiff's side. There's been no statutory notice required under Kansas tort claims or anything like that. So this is all just very preliminary at this point.
So, and right now, to answer the short answer to your question is it's in limbo.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Which also prevents us from doing anything on a new ambulance because we haven't been able to settle on that portion of it.
But Saline County is still all right with us using their retired ambulance?
Yes.
Yes.
And we maintain insurance on it, do the maintenance, et cetera, so.
So is there a statute of limitations on how long that the
2 years.
2 years? So is
So
it,
August 21st of 2018.
so is it reasonable to presume that we may be waiting 2 years before this is settled and we know what we did?
It's not uncommon that a lawsuit is filed the day before statute expires.
Because everybody forgets what happened in 2 years.
No. Negotiations might continue during that period of time too.
Thank you.
No attorney jokes or anything out there?
All of them.
I don't know, attorney Trump's marketing director.
I agree with David. I hope everybody takes the time to look at the projects and progress at the end of the council packet. And it's very interesting to see where we're at, what's going on, what the updates are. And so I do appreciate people doing that.
Can I throw a couple other things?
You can, and then Rick wants to work.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Make sure you go through the information in the envelope, please have it back to the city office by, I think it's December 12th on here, so I can compile everything and move on.
No, you're right.
Reminder, Saturday, Christmas dinner. And then January 12th, the Moving Forward Together Forum. Invitations have gone out to all past participants. Actually, we received a number of RSVPs from many of the organizations. I think we've gotten about 6 or 7 of them back already, so.
The 12th.
The 12th of January. So if you could let us know whether you will be able to attend or not, we would appreciate it.
You have time?
Yes. I'm not taking my treaty.
Share that wish.
Yes, you can.
5:30 p.m. Yeah, we start pretty quick at 5:30 with dinner, and then program starts at 6, because it's usually goes till about 9 or shortly thereafter, so.
In South Shore, good, I assume.
Yes.
Any others, council members? If not, be safe, snow's coming. Look forward to seeing everybody at the next meeting. So, thank you all for your work.
Oh, yeah, one other thing.
Oh, one other, hold on, please.
On behalf of all city employees, thank you very much for
Yes, indeed.
the holiday bonus. Appreciate it.
Thank you. You bet.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Moved and seconded, aye. Same sign.
Ah.
Huh?